Hey there, it's Christina with another video about my journey and quest for financial education. And this right here, this time period was November 2008. So I was working at the Analysis Corporation, and I had a really good job here in McLean and a six-figure income. And once you're and I was single, so once you're like making a nice amount of money, then things are stabilized, and your attention turns to, well, how can I invest this? What's the best way to invest the surplus? So I had a 401k plan. My employer matched it, and this was like before I realized that 401k plans and mutual funds just wasn't the way to go. This is before I discovered real estate investing. And so what I did is I decided on the side that I would learn more about them so that I would know how to select them. So I sat for the Series 6 and 63 exam so that I could actually be a financial advisor and a financial planner and sell mutual funds and be able to recommend them and things like that. So on November 11th, 2008, I sat for and passed the Series 6 exam for investment products, got an 84%. There's a section breakdown if anybody cares. And then a few weeks later, on November 30th, 2008, I sat for and passed the securities law exam, Series 63, got 90%. There's a section breakdown if anybody cares, because I do not care anymore. I let this security license lapse, and the reason being is the more I investigated things, the more I realized that mutual funds and 401ks were just, one of the worst investments that you could have, just the rate of return was just a little bit better than a bank. So, the thing is, I don't promote, sell, market anything that I don't believe in, that I don't do myself, that I haven't researched and studied, that is something not of quality towards a better future. And once I did that, it would just be out of integrity, because once you know better, you do better. And I'm like, well, I'll find something else, to do. So I let this license lapse, and after I took these exams, they sent me the certificate. I just want to show you that, yes, I was a financial planner and a financial advisor. I completed the requirements of FINRA, which is the Financial Industry Regulation Authority that governs this. In December 2nd, 2008, I got the certificate, and I brokered through PFS Investments. So I do have a lot of knowledge about these things, and this was, like I said, prior to learning about real estate investing. I was in mutual funds and a 401k plan. So, yes. Sometimes I just wonder, what would I have done if I discovered real estate investing first? Because I pursued all of this stuff. I keep using the word wasted, because I guess a part of me is still a little bit angry at myself, or disappointed, resentful, regretful. I don't know what the right word is, but I spent so much time and so much energy trying to find out what to do with my money, trying to get myself financially educated, because my parents didn't teach me anything. I never knew my dad at all, and my mom was a single mom working for the government. She never had a college education. She was definitely not entrepreneurial. She did not want to remarry, but she wanted to make sure she could provide for me, so security was her core value. And definitely risk averse, and not someone that would start a business. So I didn't learn anything from my parents. Now, I've expressed in a former video that I did have an early mentor in my grandfather, but that was when I was in grade school. he was an entrepreneur. He had multiple streams of income, several businesses going on. He owned land. He sold land. He built houses. And in the summertime, I used to hang out with him a lot, and he would teach me about money and business, and we would go to the construction sites of the houses being built, and the hardware store, which he owned together with his brother. We'd go to the bank, and we would do the daily financial reconciliation, take the money in the little leather zippered bag to the bank and do the daily deposit. I remember him sitting up at night, literally, it comes back to my mind so clearly, in the evening by a little lamp. He had the ledger, that long legal size paper, and an adding machine, you tap 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 and old fashioned thing, and the tape rolls down out of it. So I remember him doing all this, and we would roll coins together and take Pepsi and Coke bottles back to be redeemed back in the day, the glass bottles, and he had a business checkbook with 3 across the perforated checks, and individual checkbooks is just 1 across. So all this stuff, my grandfather was such a mentor to me, and I really took to it. I was so curious and eager. I mean, when you're young and impressionable, you're like a sponge. You'll just take up the information from whoever's there and believe it, without question. I mean, you're just, But my grandfather wasn't in good health, and he died early in the 80s, and I was, in junior high, and then I went back with my mom, and I lost all the influence of this man, and I never really found any other mentors. So there's this huge gap of time in between where I went to college, got good grades, had a high GPA, got inducted into honor societies, graduated with distinction, lots of certificates, lots of honor cords and medallions, and that's the criteria. That's how they define success in academia in their world, and that's just not how I define it in my world. But until you are clear about that and understand it, you play by someone else's rules in their game. So I guess what I'm saying is when I had all this energy and time and even a 6-figure income, I had all the resources. I had everything to be really successful except the education and the mentor. And so my life was really unguided. If I could choose one word, not having parents is unguided. And this is before the internet and social media and podcast and iTunes and iPad and mobile devices. That's why I'm so adamant and about it's so much easier now to just accelerate your learning, find a mentor, reach out, buy an information product or program. There's so many things that will accelerate your success. There's really no excuse for anybody anymore. Just knowing how hard I worked at things that weren't the right things. You can have the perfect execution, but if you're following the wrong plan, you're not going to be successful. And I feel like that's what I did with college. That's what I did with corporations. And one of the reasons I'm making these videos, this is not to brag about these certificates. I guess I'm proud that I got them, but I want to emphasize that none of it matters, because I'm not doing any of it anymore, and none of it, people chase paper. They chase paper degrees, paper certificates, paper credentials in order to earn more paper dollars. Isn't that flimsy? That's a flimsy... You have to understand real assets. Real assets put money in your bank account reliably every single month. So you need to find things that increase, that have value, okay, that are going to give you a compounded effect. Things that cash flow at the point of acquisition. Learning things that are going to make you more valuable and create results for other people. Not learning things to get a job, or learning things to pass an exam, or learning things to get a certificate. None of that stuff matters. I mean, people brainwash you into it mattering because they're trying to produce employees to work for them. So when you buy into it, they have a pool of people to choose from. My gosh, I could go on and on about this, but I guess what I'm saying is I just wonder sometimes, even though we can't change anything, I wonder if I had been guided, had mentorship, if my grandfather lived longer, and I found the right things when I had the time, when my time was ample, when my energy was high, when my income was high. Like all these, I had every advantage except the financial education. My life would be so different now. Like I'm so far behind where I want to be on my dreams. And it's not because I've been lazy by any means. I've done so much. And they say that you learn either by mistakes or mentors, and I've learned by mistakes, costly mistakes. That's why I totally endorse getting a mentor and getting your financial education. Don't just think you can do it by yourself because you got A's and you're brilliant in other things. Like everything has a high degree of specificity. It doesn't transfer. Just because you're great with technology doesn't mean you're going to be great in investing. Every discipline has its nuances. And, so I've made a lot of mistakes and lost a lot of time, a lot of money. And it can be exhausting because you have to keep starting over again. And you just wish that you could have gotten the advice the first time. But, going through this makes you stronger, makes you street smart, makes you able to hold conversations with affluent people and people that, can quickly assess how much you know. Because let me tell you, if you're ignorant out there, the people who know can pick up on it immediately, and there's not everybody operates out of integrity, and you'll be taken advantage of. So you need to first of all, you need to get your education, and then you need to be very articulate or write very well so that you're positioned out there. Someone quickly can assess, oh yeah, she knows what she's talking about, or he knows what he's talking about. Because some people are preying on ignorance and are looking for signs of it. So please, please, please. I've been around the block 10 times or more. And get your financial education by any means possible and make it a priority. Please buy assets before you incur liabilities. Let your assets buy your luxuries. Have delayed gratification about that kind of stuff. Don't get into consumer debt, credit card debt. Don't watch television. Don't go to happy hour. You need all these things can wait. Like, you have to get your financial education first. It is that imperative. And that's how I'm going to close out this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll swing back by here and I will answer them personally. Okay? Just trying to pay it forward. This is Christina. Thank you for watching.